I'm joined today with Brigit Freedman from PAE, Director of Recruiting at PAE, but I just know Brigit as my great friend here in the community. We've known each other, I hate to say, more than 10 years. A little bit longer than that, through your wonderful career in the government contracting community and all of the new technologies. You were one of the first that was out on Twitter, really doing some exciting things and interacting with job seekers in new and different ways. But you also are such a great leader, and we really appreciate all of the teams that you have trained and supported over the years. And I really was excited to hear about what you were doing to support your hiring managers going into this new normal. So I'm going to start it off with the biggest question out there is, what were 2 or 3 of the biggest obstacles you had in getting your hiring managers up to speed on virtual interviewing?
I think the first biggest obstacle was getting them comfortable to be on camera. I mean, so many people, they like, oh, I don't like the way I look on camera. Oh, I don't like the way I sound on video. And getting them to say, okay, nobody feels comfortable behind camera unless it's their full-time job. So getting them used to having those conversations on camera. I think the second thing is getting them prepared to make sure that all their equipment was working before they went into an interview. Make sure the speakers are working, make sure that the camera was on, make sure that they had a plain background behind them and not something that was, maybe politically, opposing sides, it's like polarizing something behind them. So it's just making sure everything was where you would want it to be if they were in the office having a face-to-face interview.
I mean, was there a cultural change with any of this or a cultural challenge?
It has been a huge cultural shift for a lot of the managers. A lot of the managers want to meet the people in person. And before, when we'd ask them to have a phone interview or a Skype interview or a Zoom interview, they would say, no, they have to come down to the office in DC and interview with us. And the candidates may be working out in, Brambleton, Virginia, or someplace far away, and that's a long haul for an interview, and then finding, a place to park, and then not even knowing if they're getting a job. So culturally, it's been a challenge because they definitely wanted that face-to-face, but now that they've gotten into it, I think they're really embracing it, and I think it might become the new normal for at least the first interview.
Great. So what kind of support do you provide as the recruiting team to the hiring managers as far as, I know you would brief hiring managers before candidates would come in. Is there any other change, or what is the support you provide hiring managers as the candidates move to that next step?
What we do is we work with the candidates one-on-one to make sure the candidates know how to work their equipment as well, because we want both sides to have very positive interview interactions. So we have a little cheat sheet we send to the candidates. We then work with the hiring managers to make sure that they're on time for their interviews and that they have that same interactions that they would have in person. It's just via camera. Those are the things that we've been preparing. And also we help them with questions, because sometimes they're like, how do I ask somebody a question? It's like, it's the same as in person. Ask questions based on what they're supposed to be doing.
So have there been one-on-one trainings, or have you done group trainings? I know that you put together a really great tip sheet and sort of walk through everything for your hiring managers, but have you done any group trainings or one-on-one trainings?
We've done a number of group trainings where people can ask questions and practice, and then the recruiters are doing one-on-one trainings with their managers before they go in. So they send the managers the cheat sheet and say, okay, and then they practice getting online with them and asking, and maybe adjusting a light so they can see their face. Like when we were talking before, I had the sun at my back and you couldn't see my face. I was like the person in the shadows, the Oz. But making sure that the lighting is flattering. You don't have this light coming up and looking like you're something from one of the B films back in the 60s, like the bad lighting. So those are just little tips and tricks, and making sure that you're at least dressed professionally from the waist up.
So have you done any check-ins with candidates after the meetings with the hiring manager to, one, ask them how it went, but really sort of delving into, did they feel more comfortable or uncomfortable in the virtual interviewing process?
I haven't done that yet. We're working on a survey that we want specific feedback for. Some of the candidates have called back, and the recruiters said, "Oh my God, that was a great interview," and then they'll go to the next step. So we've even been having executive level interviews with this, virtual interviewing, and those have been going really well. So I've been getting really positive feedback from the candidates as well as the hiring managers.
Great. So anything else that you would want to pass on to other recruiting managers, recruiting leadership as to how to embrace the new technology and getting the candidates through the pipeline quickly?
Well, if I give them my secrets, then I don't get to hire all the people. No, honestly, I want everybody to be successful because obviously one company can't hire everybody. But my biggest tip would be listen, be empathetic and supportive, but push so that they will get on camera and so the candidate can see who is behind, the person in the shadows, because it makes the candidate feel like, they're there, they're in an interview and that you care. So that's same type of things you do for an in-person interview.
Sounds awesome. Well, Brigit, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing your team on future webinars and at future Cleared job fairs.